The Marty and Laura Show is brought to you by Veterinary Village. With locations throughout Wisconsin, Veterinary Village is dedicated to enhancing the quality of animal and human lives today and into the future. All right, you guys, welcome to the Marty and Laura Show. I am Laura.
And I'm Marty.
And we are here, very excited. Spring is springing, right? Like my daffodils are blooming. I can hardly stand it. I'm so excited. There's mowing. There's grass mowing going on outside. It's so exciting.
It's fabulous. Green.
It is. Well, I live in Oregon, so it's green a lot. But yes, it's very green
here yet.
It's very green here. But it sort of prompted us to think about where, people are planting their gardens, they're planting their flowers, maybe they're gonna spray chemicals on their lawns, all of the things that we do in the springtime, that some of them can be challenging or dangerous or even deadly for our pets.
Right.
So, spring gardening with pets. What are some of the things that we're going to want to look for, Marty?
Well, I'd start off with saying if you're going to plant something new in your yard or your landscaping, that the first thing you do is go to the ASPCA's website and go through the list of non-toxic plants, because there's a very, very, very long list of non-toxic plants that are absolutely safe for you to have in your yard, in your garden, in your home as houseplants or whatever it happens to be. So start off with that. If you're at the garden shop, do a little bit of reading, pull up your phone and go to that website. It's a wonderful resource, and it has lots and lots and lots of really good information. So don't set yourself up for planting something in your garden or your yard that you're constantly having to fence or patrol or fret about. Just start off with safe plants. That's super easy because it's a very, very long list, and it lists the scientific name, the generic name, what family it's in, and then there's a link that you can click on every single one of these that will take you to a specific page. So if you're not sure what it looks like, it has photos, it has all kinds of stuff. There's also apps that you can get on your phone that you can take a photograph of a plant and look up whether it's toxic or not. Now, there's a fee for those. I haven't found a free one. Maybe I have missed some of them, but they're pretty handy to have as a way to resource quickly whether there's something toxic or not. So just start off by avoiding the toxic ones. Just don't plant them.
But what if you have to have Easter lilies, for example?
Well, Easter lilies aren't going to hurt your dog. They will be toxic to your cat.
Yes.
So it's kind of interesting that there's a difference. So if you have to have an Easter lily, put it up high where the cat can't get it, put it outside, put it somewhere, fence it off, whatever. Put it in an X pen, and then your cat will be safe unless the cat can climb the X pen, which I have had a cat that can do that. So just put it where it's safe. It may have to be someplace high enough that the cat can't get to it. And cats are remarkable in their ability to scale things that the top of the refrigerator is not safe from your cat.
No, I think behind a closed glass door is a great place for an Easter lily if you have.
Right. So you can see it.
Sort of what I'm saying.
Yeah, the cat can't get there. Yeah, so just like I said, start off by being safe. One of my doctors received a beautiful plant at Christmas from her relative, and she brought it directly to the clinic and let us enjoy it there because it had lilies in it, and she has a Bengal cat that was destined to get herself into trouble. So rather that, take it to work, give it to a friend, just do whatever you need to. If somebody brings you a lily and they're beautiful, just eliminate it from your life. It'll be less stressful and cost you a lot less money than having to deal with the consequences.
And talk us through, there are varying, degrees of toxicity, right? Like I read the thing that says hydrangeas are poisonous to dogs, and one of the other ones. Anyway, my rhododendron. How was it? Rhododendron is supposed to be poisonous to dogs. I had a dog that lived on a steady diet of rhododendron leaves and branches and thought that was just fine. So how do we help people understand, you know, proper caution versus hysteria?
Sure. So the first thing to do again is to go to a website that's reliable. ASPCA has a very extensive one that's free to use, and
We'll
there's
put a link.
basically a
We'll
list.
put a link, you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, it's organized in an alphabetical list. You click on the link, it takes you to the information on that particular plant. And by doing that, you can see a photograph of it and then read what it says. And it'll say things like, um, for instance, not rhododendrons,
Philodendron.
philodendrons, and some of the other plants, um, s- some of the wandering plants and so forth, they will have what's called calcium oxalate, and that will cause them to have a numb tongue. For instance, Dieffenbachia's other name is dumb cane because it looks like a cane, and when you chew it, it makes your tongue numb so you can't speak. So I
Ah,
wouldn't recommend that you try it, and that's what's going to happen to your dog or your cat is it's going to numb their tongue, but it's not going to kill them. It's not going to put them into kidney failure. Their liver is going to be fine. They're not going to die from it, but their tongue is numb. So it's classified technically as being toxic
right.
because it has toxic principles, but not because it's fatal or deadly. So you just want to click on the link and read what it says. For instance, rhododendron says vomiting, diarrhea, hypersalivation, weakness, and that one can be pretty sick. But if they're not eating amounts of it, that's the other thing. So have the ASPCA's website available to you, and have their app on your phone, and then have their phone number and a credit card if you do need to call them and say, my dog is this breed, my dog weighs this many pounds, my dog ate this much of the plant or whatever other toxic product it could be, meds or whatever. And they will put you in direct touch. You will speak with a toxicologist who can then say to you, the dog ingested this many milligrams per kilogram. That is below the toxic dose, above the toxic dose. This is the treatment care plan. A, you do nothing. B, you make the dog vomit. C, you go to the veterinarian with this treatment plan. And they will then have the entire treatment plan laid out. So in the long run, it'll actually save you money. You may not end up at the vet or at the emergency clinic. And if you do, they don't have to call poison control and start the whole treatment plan. You already have a case number. They can print it out. They can just go to it and say, okay, this is the hospitalization. This is the treatment. These are the fluids. These are the drugs. These are the things we have to do. Do we give charcoal, not give charcoal, give activated charcoal with sorbitol or not with sorbitol, blah, blah, blah. And in the long run, you're actually going to save money because you're going to already have the ability to know if that's going to be the case. Now, I don't personally recommend using peroxide to induce vomiting in dogs or cats.
Right.
So I have personally had a cat die from erosions of the esophagus and the stomach from peroxide. It was a long, 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 long time ago. I don't do peroxide in cats, and I try not to in dogs because it can cause really significant changes. I had one Doberman that ended up in the hospital for 3 days because she ended up with an air embolism caused by the bubbles of the peroxide.
Mm.
So if you have a frequent flyer dog that eats stuff they're not supposed to, there's a product on the market called Clevor, Clevor. It comes in a little eye drop pouch, and you put one drop in the dog's eye. Depending on their weight, it may be one drop, it may be 4 drops, and it will induce vomiting in dogs. It does not work in cats. So cats like to vomit anyway, but Clevor doesn't make them vomit. So if you have a dog that you know is going to be a frequent flyer because they get into everything, I have some dogs that go under the fence. I have some dogs that go over the fence. So if you have a dog that you can't control, then you
In
need
the
to
garbage,
have,
in the
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, you need to have Clevor in your toolbox, and then you just pull it out, put a drop in, stand back because the vomiting happens in the next 3 minutes. It's pretty fast. If you don't have access to that, you can go to the veterinary clinic and they can give either Clevor or apomorphine and induce vomiting. And there are products for cats as well. So there are ways that we can make them vomit if we need to. And remember that the faster you get to the vet, the less likely they are to absorb a toxin. Now, if it's a foreign body, you probably have 24 to 48 hours to get in,
Mm.
but don't push the envelope, don't wait. It's not like the stomach in 1 hour will open up and the sock will go from their stomach into their intestines like magically at the 1 hour mark. So be attentive and just call your vet, call your emergency clinic, go in. And I mean, the apomorphine works fantastic. It is shocking to me how well it works and what things will come up when you're not expecting them. Some things are there that didn't even know about.
Didn't want to
So,
know about.
right. So just have the list, have the phone number, and have the Clevor on hand so that you are prepared. Because if you know you have a dog that's an outlaw and does this stuff, just accept the fact that it's going to happen and
Be
be ready
prepared.
for it.
Okay.
Doggett simplifies the puppy buying journey by connecting families with the perfect breed and responsible, health-verified breeders. They are the only breeder marketplace that verifies health clearances and responsible breeding practices. Through their personalized puppy matcher tool and matchmaker services, they educate and guide buyers every step of the way, ensuring a seamless process and a perfect match for their lifestyle. From initial breed consultation to introductions with top breeders, Doggett makes responsible puppy ownership easy and stress-free.
So poisonous plants, we've got the solution for that. Now,
Right.
the other thing that we're doing in the springtime a lot of times is fertilizing, maybe spraying for weeds, some of
Mm-hmm.
these that are toxic chemicals. Maybe we're
Mm-hmm.
putting new radiator fluid and there's the
Antifreeze.
antifreeze. Thank you. Boy, that was a senior moment, y'all. Hello, antifreeze. I could see it in my mind. It was not coming out the mouth.
That green
That green
green
stuff,
stuff that
the
drips
green
on your
stuff.
floor. Yeah.
So talk us through some of the other things that we kind of probably know in the back of our head, but we hadn't thought about. And here it is springtime,
Right.
and like, oh yeah, I need to.
Right. So as far as sprays go, typically the herbicides, the weed killers, are not toxic to dogs. Now they will potentially be toxic over the long run. Things like um, some of the products that can cause cancer. I am reluctant to use them, but if your dog gets into an herbicide, it's not immediately toxic. Insecticide sprays and other solutions are immediately toxic because they affect the nervous system of the dog. So just be aware that those are there. Don't leave them where the dog can get into them or the cat can get into them. And don't even think that a high shelf is going to save you, because invariably a cat or a rat or something in your garage is going to knock it onto the floor, and then the dog's going to have access. So, keep a really close eye on those products. And if they say to let them dry, if they say that they're toxic, any of those things, then just follow label directions. And most of the time on the label is a lot of information if you can keep the packaging and read it. If you have to go to the emergency clinic, take it along or take a photograph of it so that you know what the exact product is. And then you will be able to read the instructions. And many times there's an 800 number or an 888 number on the package. And if you call that, many times, not always, many times the company has already paid for poison control support. So you may not have to pay for it if you are following the directions on the package.
Mm.
So take the entire package with you. If even if it's chewed up, at least take what's in another bag and then take it along to the emergency clinic or the vet clinic when you're going in, to provide additional support and knowing precisely what it is, how much they ate, what the concentration was, what the antidote is. There's a lot of important information that can be gleaned from that. So typically the insecticides products are the ones that are toxic. As far as other stuff that you do, things like mulch. Cocoa bean mulch for a while was a very popular mulch. I haven't seen it as much lately, but the shells of the cocoa bean were used for mulch, and they were lovely in the garden. They smelled great when it rained. It smelled like chocolate in your garden. It was great. But there was enough chocolate in that if the dog ate the mulch, and it was, of course, appealing to the dog as well, that it could be toxic. So read the label, think about the stuff you're using, the dyes in the mulch, if that concerns you, like the red dyed stuff that's supposed to be redwood, but it's cheap pine, and then they dye it red so it looks pretty. Just be aware that some of those can also be a problem. So think about what you're putting in the garden, on the garden, around the garden. Watch out when you've got the bulbs sitting there waiting to plant. If you haven't planted them yet, dogs like to pick those up and run off with them like they're a tennis ball. Yeah, and then chew on them. So if there's a way to get into trouble, your dog will think of it.
And they want to help
Guaranteed.
you, right? Like they want to take your gloves and run away with them. They want to take your little gardening shovel and run off with that. They think that's really fun.
It is.
And gardening with your pet can be cool, if you're careful, right? And
Right.
so that's the idea.
Right. And when you're kneeling down facing the other direction, the dog is like, woohoo, she's not paying attention. Look at this.
Now, if it's a
So
wire hair, they're bouncing off my head. So, that's a
yeah,
thing.
yeah. So they're having a great time out there. But
Yes.
simply just again, kind of prepare for it. And if you have a dog that has a propensity to dig, teach them to dig where you want the holes. So just point out to you. I mean, there are people I've actually seen do it on video. They're like, here, dig here. And so they don't have to dig. The dog is like, oh boy. And so they just go to town.
Okay, no, I love this.
Just direct
I
it.
believe that we need to have somebody show us how to teach our dog to dig the holes for the flowers.
I have seen videos of some farm dogs over in Denmark that they
Mm,
have absolutely done this with. It's
amazing.
actually quite funny.
Amazing.
Probably Google it and you'll find some fun little videos of how your dog can assist you with the hole digging. If they do it anyway, just put them on the spot that you want them to do it and then figure out a way to turn it back off when you're
Dig.
done. Dig, okay, no dig.
Okay. No day. Well, and we know as dog trainers, if you want to teach a dog not to do something, you should teach it to do it first so that then you tell it not to.
Correct. Correct. So you can't have an
Be
off switch
careful
till
with
you have an
that
on
because
switch.
the
Yeah.
speak thing, that can be a problem.
Yeah, turning it off is hard. But yeah, there's absolutely the on switch and the off switch. So
Mm-hmm.
you just have to figure out which is which for your particular dog. But
Yep.
it actually can be pretty fun if you're capable of doing that.
Yes.
Ian Dunbar is a pretty famous dog trainer from
Yep.
the West Coast. And
Yes.
he has the idea of using a digging pit for your dog. If you have a dog that wants to dig,
Yep.
set up a corner
Get
of
him a
your
sand
yard,
pit. Mm-hmm.
put sand in it, bury bones, bury stuff in it, teach your dog that that's the digging pit, but your couch is not the digging pit, so that they don't dig
Or
a
the
hole in your couch.
flowers, the irises that you just planted.
Exactly. So, just know that you have to be a good trainer to turn it off when you've turned it on.
Yes.
So be aware, but Ian Dunbar has some wonderful training materials. If
Mm-hmm.
you're looking for something along those lines, there's some really great dog trainers out there. Patricia McConnell, Ian Dunbar are
Yep.
my two favorites. So just, do a little reading before you make that decision because you may regret the choice. So don't say I didn't tell
Yeah.
you so because
Yeah.
I told you so.
We warned you. Okay, so another thing that we kind of maybe don't think about as much, but springtime is baby time for many wild critters.
Yeah,
And
bunnies, birds.
bunnies, birds, and skunks.
Yeah, that
And
too. Snakes,
yeah,
all the
snakes.
stuff.
So I was thinking of the skunks in terms of we should probably provide people with the famous skunk deskunking protocol so that
Yes.
when Mama Skunk is guarding her baby skunks and guards them against your dog in its face.
Yeah, and porcupines, we should mention porcupines too.
Porcupines are thing
So
too.
yes,
Mhm.
but they don't smell bad. They just send quills home with your dog. So
Mm.
for the skunk deskunking, there are some products on the market that are specific for that. But if you don't already have them on the shelf, which I actually happen to, then you need to mix something up, and it requires a combination of baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, and dish soap. The
Mhm.
exact proportions, it's usually a pint of peroxide, a box of baking soda, and 2 tablespoons of dish soap. But if you forget the ratios, look it up. And tomato juice is sort of fallen out of favor,
Don't do that.
but that combination works. But you can't keep what's left over bottled because the peroxide causes the baking soda to release a gas, which will explode the container that you save it in. So use what you've made. Don't think that you can store it for next time because it won't work out.
And pro tip on this, do not get your dog wet before applying the baking soda solution. You must apply the baking soda solution to the dog dry, let it sit, work it into their coat, usually their face because they stuck their nose where it wasn't supposed to be.
And their eyes are often inflamed.
Yes.
So be careful around the eyes.
Yes. And let it sit in the coat. Let it sit there like 5 or 10 minutes and then rinse it and then wash the dog with shampoo. That's the steps you have and the order you have to do the steps in, or you will have permanently set the odor ooh, the skunk.
Yeah, so don't bring your dog into the house
Right.
to do this. Do it in the
Do it in the
yard, do it in
garage.
the garage, the garden, the
Yeah.
backyard, the fence.
Yeah.
So use your garden hose. If you can hook it up to warm water in your house, that's great. If you can't, well, too bad. Your dog deserves a cold water bath because they were a bad dog and got themselves into skunk
Sticking
trouble.
their nose where it
Um,
should not be.
yeah. Typically the baby skunks don't have the smell, but
No,
the mama
the
skunk,
mom.
oh yeah, she's a beast.
Mom's guarding.
So, and then remember to keep your dog up to date on rabies vaccinations because
Yes.
skunks are notoriously rabid. So
Yes.
the last thing you want to do is go into your vet
I've
clinic
had a
with
rabid
smelly
skunk
dog.
on my
Mhm.
property. Trust me, it's bad.
Yeah, it is bad. But people will come in and I'll say, "Oh, was your dog in a skunk?" And they go, "What? That was like 2 months ago. You can still smell that?" Oh yeah, it means your house smells like that, and you've just become nose blind to it. So yeah, so be prepared if you have a dog that has a tendency to do this. Have a couple boxes of baking soda, a couple bottles of peroxide, and your dish soap on hand because you're going to need it. And if you have more than one dog, you're going to need a lot of it. So
And you do know that they tend to do this in a group, right?
oh
There's going to be
yeah, it's an
somebody
event.
egging them on and somebody doing the
No,
attack
you go
part.
first.
Yeah.
You
3
try it.
skunked dogs at 5 a.m. Good times. Super good times.
Yeah, if
Don't
you open the
ask
door
me
and
how
smell
I
skunk,
know. Do
yeah,
not
if you
ask
open
me
the
how
door
I know.
and smell skunk, don't let the dog out. It's trouble.
It's bad. Okay, so that's one of our spring items. Baby bunnies, when they bring you the baby
Yeah.
bunny, don't try and save it. Just maybe move the fence and the bunny. I don't know. I don't know what to do about baby bunnies. It's bad.
Yeah. It's not going to survive. And if you find a baby bird, put it where it was. Don't bring it in the house. Don't call unless you think it's a very rare species that
Right.
a rescue organization will want, a bird rescue or animal rescue. They don't want raccoons. They don't want rabbits. They don't want snakes. They don't want all the stuff because
Mm-mm.
they already have a gajillion of them and they'll just tell you to put them back where they were. So, like baby raccoons, there's no value to trying to rescue those. Just put them where they were
Mother
and
Nature
fence it
is
off.
not a charming thing, and when
No.
we try to make Mother Nature, um,
Mother Nature has a temper.
yeah, Mother Nature is not all sunshine and roses, and when we try to impose our will on Mother Nature, it doesn't always end very well.
Not usually. So, be thoughtful. Put if you have an X pen, fence off the area so your dog doesn't get back to it. Leave the bird where it was. Hopefully the mama bird will come back to find it. She's not going to carry it back to the nest, but baby bunnies and things can. So, just be aware that there are limits. I had a whole litter of baby raccoons decide at a stop sign to run up into my wheel wells of my vehicle
Oh
at a stop sign. I was
no!
like,
Oh,
oh my God. So we put on gloves, plucked them all out, and returned them to where they were. And yeah, it was rough.
okay. I'm
So
gonna tell my cute story. That's terrifying.
it was I called my Subaru mechanic and he came over to help me because I'm like, man, I can't
Oh
do
my
this. So we were
gosh.
pulling him. I mean, in 30 seconds, I had 7 baby raccoons in my well wells. It was unbelievable. So it's incredible, but I didn't want to just drive down the road and hear
No,
it. So
squish them.
I stopped and put them in a box and took them back out into the field. And I don't know where their final game was, but it wasn't in my wheel wells.
We have bird dogs, obviously. We have property that has ponds and a stream and a river, and so we frequently have nesting geese and
Oh
occasionally
yes.
nesting ducks in and on our property in the spring. And a few years ago, this was just the wildest thing I've ever seen. I think the mama duck was taking her babies to the neighbor's koi pond, truth be known, but she had to go through our pasture and then our dog yard to the neighbor's yard. And so I kept hearing this noise. I'm like, what in the heck? And there is this mama duck and 12 baby ducks. And I'm like, they don't put any dogs out.
Yeah. That's off limits.
Yeah. So, baby season is a thing.
Brings new meaning to sitting duck.
Just, oh my gosh, it was just crazy. But those are the kind of things that we think about. We think planting and yard stuff, and all this is like fresh and exciting. So remembering ways for us to keep our pets healthy while spring is springing. That's what I'm about.
You got it.
All
But
right.
it can be fun. It is fun.
It is
You just
fun.
have to you just
It
have
is
to
fun.
think about it and manage it like
Be a little
everything
bit
else in
prepared.
life.
Yep.
You can't just be random about it. So be thoughtful about what your dog is about to do or your cat's about to do, and know that it's predictable and prevent it.
Absolutely. Preventable. We prevent forest fires. We can also prevent dogs eating things they shouldn't eat. All right, you guys, remember, like, subscribe, share the show on. We really are excited to be able to bring you guys out there in listener land some fantastic information and from reliable sources. So thanks, Marty.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Marty and Laura Show. We're excited to bring you these unique, fun, fact-based conversations about pet health. We hope you'll join us on social. Stop by the website to sign up for an extra tip of the week for your pet. While you're at it, do us a favor, please, and leave a review wherever you find your podcasts. The Marty and Laura Show is produced by Pure Dog Talk, Inc. Sound design and editing by Premium Audio Services.